The wind stirred up the scorched grass outside the abandoned Terran observatory. Dust clung to the chrome plates of Varelth's exosuit as she adjusted her HUD visor, narrowing in on the coordinates flickering across the bottom of her field. View. A faint signal pulsed there. Steady, rhythmic, unmistakable. She took one step forward and the cracked soil groaned beneath her boots. Earth was supposed to be a backwater rock, irrelevant after the collapse. Yet here she was, tailing whispers of a treasure whose price couldn't be measured in credits. Organic signature located, her suit whispered. Primary target within 20 meters. Varelth drew her sidearm from her thigh holster, but didn't power it yet. She had learned the hard way humans were unpredictable. Fragile, yes, but so were detonation charges. You only needed to touch the wrong wire. The observatory door creaked open without resistance, and inside, 100 years of decay watched her enter. Ivy had grown across old screens, mice scattered, dust danced in her wake, and then, "Hey," said a voice behind her. "That's private property." She turned and for a beat forgot herself. The human stood barely up to her collarbone, clothed in simple canvas and wool, sleeves rolled to forearms freckled with sun. His eyes were not aggressive, only curious, cautious. He held a trowel, not a weapon. "My name is Corvin," he said, stepping forward. "You're not local, I'd remember." Varelth's voice was a low hum modulated by her rebreather. "I'm not here for pleasantries, Terran. Step aside. I own this land. That will not matter in the next 5 minutes." She walked past him, ignoring the way he watched her, not with fear but with interest. She hated that. Fear she could handle. Interest made things messy. "You looking for that crash site?" Corvin asked, following. She froze. "You know about it?" "It's 5 minutes west. I've been studying the soil mutations. Let me guess, salvager?" "I'm not a salvager," she said coolly. "I'm a finder." His brow raised. "You find people?" "Only one. You." He blinked. "Me?" Her scanner lit up the moment she faced him. Bioenergy spikes. Resonance flux. Cross-species compatibility signature. It was impossible. The treasure, the source of the signal, was not in the ground. It was standing there, blinking in confusion. Holding a trowel like it meant something, Varelth lowered her weapon. "You are carrying something ancient inside you." Corvin took a step back. "I think I'd know if I was." She advanced. "You wouldn't. It was hidden by your ancestors. There's something embedded in your DNA. Some kind of organic latticework. It's beautiful." Corvin turned, walking quickly now. "Okay. Time to go. I don't know who you are, but I'm not about to be probed or disassembled for science. Fiction treasure." She caught his shoulder, holding him with a fraction of her strength. "Don't move." He looked up at her, suddenly still. "You're serious?" "I don't joke." Corvin stared at her a moment, then slowly gestured toward the observatory lab. "If we're doing this, we do it in the open. Come on. There's equipment inside." Varelth followed warily. Inside, the lab was cluttered but active. Plants in test tubes, mineral samples, a portable med scanner. He clearly lived alone, yet it wasn't neglectful. It was ordered chaos, like a mind that never stopped working. She gestured at the scanner. "Run it on yourself." He frowned but complied, swiping through a custom-coded UI. After several seconds, he went pale. "That's not possible." Varelth leaned in. The readings were clearer now. His genome had woven into itself a hidden algorithm, a living code of alien origin, a perfect match to the artifact described in the Brelzar writings, her original contract. "You," she murmured, "are the seed." Corvin looked down at himself. "What does that mean?" She straightened. "There was a species once. Long extinct. They didn't believe in vaults or data cubes. They believed in living inheritance. They placed their knowledge inside organic hosts, coded to unlock when certain alignments occurred. That's what I was hunting. Not a stone, not a weapon. You." He laughed nervously. You're saying I've got ancient alien treasure in my genes? Yes. That's insane. And yet you believe me. His smile faded. Because this isn't the first time I've felt strange. I've had dreams. Not mine. Stars I've never seen. Creatures that can't exist. And sometimes I touch things and they react. I thought I was just going crazy. She crossed her arms. You weren't. Something inside you has been dormant. My presence must be triggering it. You're waking it up, or it's recognizing me. Corvin's gaze lingered on her now, not with fear but fascination. His fingers brushed along the scanner, then his arm, then dropped. Okay. Say I believe you. What now? You take me to your ship and sell me to the highest bidder? Virelth's face darkened. That was the plan. He flinched slightly. She added more quietly. But now I'm reconsidering. He tilted his head. Why? I've never seen this before. Something about you. The resonance. It's reacting differently. The code is shifting, like it's adapting. Like it's choosing. Choosing? Her voice dropped. It shouldn't do that. Corvin backed away again. So what does it mean? You stay here and experiment on me? Virelth took a deep breath, the scent of ozone and human sweat mingling in the air. She hated the way Earth smelled. But him? There was something grounding. I stay, she said. I observe. I protect you from others who might come, hunting. His lips parted. Others? If I found the signal, someone else will. Syndicate raiders, black market collectors, worse. And I'm supposed to just trust you? No, she said simply. But your survival depends on me. They stood in silence, the weight of it all settling like dust in the corners of the room. Corvin ran a hand through his hair. Do I at least get a say in where I sleep tonight? Virelth shrugged. I don't require sleep. Yeah, well, I do. You can take the spare room. She scanned the house's structure in seconds. That room has poor line of sight. To entry points, I'll sleep on the couch. He smirked. So you're staying? I already said I was. That night, she sat cross-legged on the couch, watching him sleep with unblinking violet eyes. Her HUD mapped his biometric patterns, matching them against data archives long forgotten. The code inside him. It pulsed, almost like it was aware of her now. She wasn't sure if that terrified her or fascinated her. Around 3 a.m., Corvin stirred. His breath hitched. A dream. She could tell by the spike in his EEG waves. He whispered a name, one that didn't belong in any Terran language. She recognized it, her ancestors' dialect. He was remembering things he had no right to remember. She leaned closer, barely breathing. His scent was stronger up close, moss, metal, sweat, and something earthy she couldn't name. She found herself wondering what it would feel like to touch his bare skin, to trace the pulse beneath his jaw. Her hand hovered just above him, then froze. What was she doing? She stood abruptly, stepping outside into the cool night air, letting the wind bite her exposed cheek. This wasn't part of the contract. She wasn't supposed to feel anything. And yet, for the first time in years, her chest ached. Like something, long dead, had started to stir. Inside the house, Corvin rolled over, pulling the blanket tighter. Neither of them knew it yet, but they were already bonded, not by blood, not by fate, by something rarer. Choice. And that was only the beginning. Morning sunlight cut through the clouds, painting the earth in gold and haze. Dew shimmered on the rusting metal of the observatory's outer ring. Inside, the air was warm, filled with the scent of brewed roots, something Corvin had called coffee. Virelth sat across from him, watching him stir the cup like it held answers. She didn't drink Terran beverages, not because she couldn't, because she didn't trust the comfort they offered. Corvin took a slow sip. So, you stayed. I said I would. Yeah, but people, aliens like you, usually vanish by morning. Figured you'd change your mind. I don't change my mind, she replied, but the words felt heavier today. Corvin glanced out the window. You said others might come for me. How much danger are we talking? Enough. He leaned forward. Then we need to prepare, right? Set traps, get weapons. She gave him a long look. You're a botanist with a shovel. Hey, this shovel saved me from a rabid holofox once. Her lip twitched, the smallest crack in her armored facade. I will handle the defense, she said. But I need more data. We have to understand what the code in your body is doing. He shifted uncomfortably. You sure it's safe to poke at it? What if we unlock something bad? She hesitated. There's risk, but leaving it dormant is worse. The signal will only grow stronger. It will draw others. Corvin stood, pulling his shirt over his head as he walked toward the med scanner. Varelth blinked. Her gaze snagged on the exposed skin of his back. Scars. Yes, but also faint veins of bioluminescence now glowing beneath the surface. He glanced back. What? You're changing. Not the first time I've heard that in a relationship, he muttered. She tilted her head. We are not in a relationship. I mean, we live together. You watch me sleep. Now you're scanning me shirtless. If this were any other planet, someone would be gossiping by now. She stared at him in silence. You're not wrong. He stepped into the scanner ring, arms raised slightly. Do your worst. She initiated the scan, watching as the interface lit up in shades of gold and blue. His internal structure pulsed, with code. Living, breathing code. But now something was different. The code had formed a shape. A spiral. One she'd seen only once before. In a forbidden archive deep in the Sul Dominion's ruins. It was a symbol for rebirth. And then the scanner crashed. The entire lab flickered. Lights dimmed. Power drained from the generator. Corvin stepped out, rubbing his arms. That didn't feel good. You're becoming a conduit. A what? Energy is moving through you. The artifact isn't just inside you, you are becoming it. Corvin looked shaken. You're saying I'm turning into some kind of relic? Not a relic, she corrected. A key. He laughed bitterly. Great. And here I was hoping to just plant herbs today. She watched him carefully, noting the way his posture had subtly shifted. There was a presence about him now. More than human. Not yet alien. But something in between. Corvin, she said quietly. I need to stay close to you. You already said that? No, I mean closer, physically. The resonance between us is intensifying. Proximity may stabilize the changes. His eyebrows lifted. You're telling me the treasure between my legs isn't just a metaphor? She stared at him. He grinned. Kidding. She stepped forward slowly, until only inches separated them. It's not a joke. You carry a bond signal, it's old tech, pre-digital. Empathic imprinting through contact, possibly even skin to skin. He swallowed. You mean like touch? Yes. Like now? Her hand hovered near his jaw, but she didn't touch him yet. It must be mutual. If you resist it, the code may lash out. He nodded barely. Okay. Her fingers brushed his skin. Sudden heat surged through both of them. The room dropped away. For a heartbeat, they saw stars that had never existed, heard voices from ancient minds, felt emotions not their own, grief, longing, love that spanned galaxies and eons. And then, silence. She jerked her hand back. Corvin stumbled, catching himself on the table. What the hell was that, he gasped. We linked, she said breathlessly. You accepted me. I didn't mean to, but you did. His breath came in ragged pulls. So, what now? Are we married in some ancient alien way? No, she said, looking shaken for the first time. But you've imprinted on me. And I on you. Meaning, I feel you now like a tether, and I won't leave. He looked at her differently then, no longer as an intruder or a mystery, but something more. His voice dropped. So, this thing in me, does it want you? She didn't answer. Instead, she sat beside him, unusually still. I don't know, but it recognizes me. Maybe because I've been alone a long time. Like it has. Corvin's expression softened. You said you were a mercenary, right? She nodded. So what happens when mercenaries fall for their treasure? She turned her head, and for the first time, her eyes were no longer cold. They shimmered with something he hadn't seen in her before. Vulnerability. They stopped being mercenaries. The silence between them stretched, heavy with possibility. Then a distant sound pierced it. A whine. Suborbital engines. She was on her feet. In an instant. They've found us. Corvin stood, fists clenched. Then we run? She shook her head. No. You can't leave. You're bound to this ground now. Your code is rooted to the site. He took a breath. Then we fight. She turned to him, surprised. You're not trained. No. But I'm not leaving you alone either. Her gaze lingered on him, on his fire, on the pulse of light beneath his skin. You may be more than the key, she said softly. You might be the lockbreaker too. And as the sky thundered with the descent of another ship, she drew her weapon, this time not as a hunter, but as a protector. Beside her, the human adjusted his grip on a steel rod, no armor, no training, but, somehow, more valuable than any weapon in the galaxy. The real treasure, and she would kill anyone who tried to take him, even if it meant breaking every rule she'd ever followed. The ship descended with a shriek that tore across the sky, its silhouette blotting out the sun for a moment as it lowered through layers of cloud and smoke. The ground trembled with its landing, scattering the birds nesting in the cliffside. Dust billowed outward, curling around the old observatory's bones. Corvin gripped the steel rod tighter, the weight of it unfamiliar, awkward, but comforting in its simplicity. A tool. A weapon. Something to hold onto in a world that had gone sideways. Varelith crouched near the entrance, her long fingers tapping across a small panel she had embedded in the stone during the night. Traps. Proximity mines calibrated to detonate on specific biosignatures. She had buried them with surgical precision. Corvin watched her work. You really don't do anything halfway, do you? She didn't look back. I was trained not to. What kind of training includes falling for your asset? She paused, only briefly, but he noticed. A part of him thrilled at it, even now, with death bearing down, that she could feel anything at all for him. Varelith stood, stepping to the window. That ship is Australian make. It won't be standard Dominion hunters this time. These are claimers. Claimers? She nodded. Privateers, scavengers with teeth. They kill fast, take faster, and ask no questions. They'll want your body intact, but your mind won't matter. Corvin swallowed. Charming. So we negotiate? We kill. Or we die. He tried to laugh, but it caught in his throat. Outside, hatches on the ship hissed open. Two figures emerged, tall, four-armed, armored in segmented plates that pulsed with dull energy. They moved like panthers, too graceful for creatures so large. Behind them came a third, lean and unarmored, wrapped in desert silks dyed in a sickly, iridescent hue. This third one smiled as it stepped into the clearing. Its mouth was full of needle-like teeth. Its eyes were too many, spread across its forehead, like a crown of blinking black pearls. Varelith narrowed her eyes. I know that one. Sin Trass. Corvin moved beside her. He important? Worse. He's efficient. Trass stopped just meters from the observatory and called out, voice like wind chimes clattering against rusted wire. Mercenary. You have something my employer values. Surrender the human, and I will let you live. Varelith didn't blink. You've always lied well, Trass. I almost forgot the way you beg when you lose. Trass chuckled, unbothered. Ah, the old you would have taken the coin. Now you risk your name for flesh. What's he done to you? She raised her weapon, aiming it straight at his center. He made me remember who I was before the coin. Hum built in the air. The ground cracked. Corvin's skin flared with that golden glow again. His fingers twitched, and for a moment it felt like the earth itself was listening. Then the trap mines detonated. 2 explosions rang out, precise and violent, catching the armored guards in their stride. One was hurled backward, its exosuit buckling, while the other lost 2 limbs to the blast, dropping to the dirt with an unholy screech. Trask darted backward, cloak flaring, already shouting something in a guttural tongue. Virelth vaulted through the window before Corvin could stop her. He cursed under his breath, then followed. The battlefield was chaos. Virelth moved like liquid steel, her weapon slicing through the last guard's neck in one fluid motion. Corvin, heart pounding, dodged low as one of Trask's drones fired a plasma round past his head. He swung the rod in a wide arc and connected with the drone's sensor eye, shattering it. Sparks flew. He didn't even have time to be surprised he survived. Trask was fast. Faster than she remembered. His blades weren't physical but composed of bending light, and when he struck, the air warped. Virelth ducked, twisted, blocked, but still took a grazing burn to her shoulder. Corvin yelled her name and leapt between them. "No!" she shouted. Too late. Trask slashed, and the blade met Corvin's arm. But instead of cutting him, it passed through with a sharp crackle and burst apart in shards of broken light. Trask reeled back, staring. Impossible. Corvin stared at his glowing arm. Okay, that was new. The ground beneath him pulsed. Veins of golden light spiderwebbed through the earth, connecting to the ruins, to the ship, to the observatory. Ancient conduits beneath the planet's crust had awakened. The code inside him wasn't dormant anymore. Virelth watched, stunned. He's syncing with the planet. Trask tried to run. Corvin raised his hand, and the metal of the crashed drone rose with it. He didn't know how he did it. He just willed it. The drone spun mid-air, then launched like a spear, pinning Trask to the hull of his own ship. Silence. Smoke curled. Virelth ran to Corvin, catching him as he staggered. His skin was cooling, the glow fading. He looked at her, pupils blown wide, lips parted. "I think I did something big." "You did." Her voice was soft, awed. "You changed the battlefield." He winced. "Yeah? I feel like the battlefield changed me." She helped him to the grass, pressing her hand to his chest. "You didn't just absorb the artifact, you're integrating with the planet's legacy tech." He laughed shakily. "I can't even fix a blender. Now I'm a god?" "Not a god," she said gently, "but perhaps a chosen interface." He lay back, breathing hard. "Great. I always wanted to be a universal USB port." She smiled, despite herself brushing his damp hair from his forehead. "You shouldn't have jumped between us." "You'd do the same," he whispered. "Actually, you already have." She blinked, caught off guard. "Yes, I have." He reached up, touching her cheek. "So what do we do now?" "I've got aliens trying to kill me, some ancient relic code changing my DNA, and I'm falling for the one person who knows how to hold a plasma blade." Virelth leaned closer. "We hide, we learn, we train, and we stay close." His fingers trailed down her neck. "How close?" Her eyes darkened. "Closer than you've ever been with anyone." The connection sparked again, not as a blinding burst, but as a warm, slow burn between their skin. A steady heartbeat, his to hers, hers to his. She kissed him, not out of protocol, not from duty, but because she wanted to, and he kissed her back like he'd been waiting his entire life for this exact impossibility to arrive. No grand declarations. No promises carved in stars, just contact, connection, and the knowledge that no matter what forces rose against them, they were no longer facing the void alone. Above them, the sun broke through the clouds once more. Gold touched the earth, and for the first time in her life, Virelth allowed herself to believe in something stronger than war, She believed in him, in them, in whatever strange, dangerous love they were building together, on a planet where nothing made sense, except the way he looked at her, and the way her heart, long caged in silence, now beat with purpose again. The forest hummed with life, vibrant and strange. Trees with silver bark stretched skyward, their leaves shimmering faintly with bioluminescence. Creatures darted through the underbrush, some insectoid, some feathered, some defying any category. Corvin could imagine. It had been 2 weeks since the last attack and the world had finally gone quiet. They moved through the landscape like ghosts, cautious and purposeful. Varelth walked ahead, her scanner humming softly in her grip. Corvin followed close behind, still adjusting to the strange awareness that now lived inside him, this ambient connection to the planet. It was like being part of a song only he could hear. Sometimes, when he touched the trees, they pulsed with faint light. The ruins they discovered recognized him, offering flickers of ancient data. There were no words for what he was becoming, no label that fit neatly, but in her eyes he didn't need one. She still watched him when she thought he wasn't looking, studying him with a gaze both guarded and tender, like she still couldn't believe he was real. And he watched her back, unable to stop. Varelth moved like the edge of a blade, precise, lethal, beautiful, but when she smiled it felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. They made camp in a low valley beside a natural spring. The sky above shimmered with distant stars, the moon hanging swollen and golden. He built the fire. She rigged proximity, alarms. Everything between them was becoming familiar, routine, intimate in a way that went beyond survival. Corvin stirred the flames and looked at her across the glow. You ever imagine this would be your life? She tilted her head. Hunted, mercenary, rogue guardian, keeper of a human artifact? No, not even close. What did you imagine? A pause. Nothing, she said softly. We weren't allowed to imagine, only plan. He nodded. And now? Her eyes met his across the fire. Now I think I would risk all of it to keep what I've found. He didn't need to ask what she meant. She crossed to him, silent on the mossy ground, and sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. Her fingers brushed his wrist, tentative, testing. I've seen every kind of wealth, she murmured. Cores of rare elements, vaults of star-forged relics, even the last tears of a dying sun sold on the black market. None of it mattered. He turned to her. And now? She smiled faintly, then slid her hand to his. Turns out the treasure wasn't any of that. Corvin chuckled, warm and honest. You're going to say it, aren't you? She leaned in, lips grazing his ear. The treasure was between the human's legs. He choked on a laugh, his face going red. Okay, that's not entirely inaccurate, but I mean your genetic code, she added innocently. Your connection to the ancient tech. Your ability to interface. Sure, he grinned. And definitely not anything else. She looked at him, expression softening. And maybe also the way you hold me at night. That stilled him. She rarely said things like that aloud. He didn't need her to. But hearing it still made something expand inside his chest. He reached for her gently. Their lips met again, but this time slower, deeper, less like fire, more like gravity. It wasn't just a kiss. It was an agreement. A vow, unspoken but understood. The planet hummed beneath them. Later, lying beneath the stars, her head resting on his chest, Varelth asked, Do you think this world will let us stay? I don't know, he whispered. But we'll make it ours, piece by piece. They'll come again. Let them. You think you can stop them with your treasure? He laughed, heart full. With you beside me? Yeah, I think I can. She closed her eyes, arms circling his waist. Then I will fight for this. For us. As sleep pulled at them, the air above shimmered with faint golden trails, residue of energy that pulsed in harmony with Corvin's breath. The planet was waking, not in anger, but in recognition. Elsewhere, far across the world, ancient towers long buried stirred in the deep. Their systems reactivated, searching for a signal they had not heard in millennia. And in a forest where no stars had guided for eons, two hearts beat together, one alien, one human, each the other's improbable salvation. Not all love stories were written in the stars. Some were carved in dirt, fire, and choice. This one had no fairy tale ending. Just two warriors, scarred and stubborn, choosing each other every day, against every odd. And that was enough. Always would be.